Do you ever feel like God is just not showing up when you're praying? I was reading in Genesis this week, and in Genesis 16, there's a story where God promises to Abraham and Sarah that he would continue Abraham's descent through his own children. Abraham and Sarah decide to try helping God out a little bit, and they invite Hagar, the servant, to join Abraham in the bedroom and solve the problem. Well, no shock to anyone, when Hagar actually has a child from Abraham, Sarah's not too happy. And God promises Abraham in chapter 16 that he's going to watch out for Hagar and for Ishmael, the son from Hagar. In chapter 21, we see that Hagar's still living there. Sarah now has a child, and through an unfortunate taunting incident, Sarah gets mad and wants to send Hagar out, and God says, "Just do what Sarah says. Like, oh go." And he says, "I will continue to protect Hagar and protect Ishmael, your descendants." And so Abraham gives some supplies to Hagar. She and Ishmael go out into the wilderness, and they reach a spot where they're out of supplies and they are ready to like physically die. Like, she puts Ishmael a ways away from her. She doesn't have to hear her own child die. I can't imagine that. Now, I don't know how they got to that spot. Did like Hagar get lost and she had enough supplies to make it to the city, but she lost her way? Did they not have enough supplies? Did the supplies run out early? I don't know what exactly happened to get to that spot of like, we are going to die. But what's amazing is that at that spot, and only at that spot, it says God hears them and he comes and answers and shows her provision, and they live. Nations come out of Ishmael. But I thought, how fascinating that God hears and sees the whole thing, and yet comes at the very end. Why is that? Like, is that maybe sometimes where he wants us to truly be dependent on him? He wants us to realize that we're not as strong as we think we are, that we're not as capable as we think we are, that we don't have any resources of our own left, and so that when victory is achieved, it's all him. I don't know. But if you're at a spot that sometimes I know I'm at the spot where I'm like, man, I don't know how this is going to happen. I think we can take reassurance and take comfort that just like Abraham and Hagar, Hagar was never out of God's sight, never out of God's hearing. He just chose to come in, well, it was we would perceive the very last minute. And so keep praying, keep believing, God's listening.